I think this is the biggest luxury scandal of the year. Jane Birkin's daughter, Charlotte Gainsbourg, is allegedly going after Hermes and forcing the brand into crisis mode. And it's not just about legacy or fashion pride. This is about betrayal. Why? Because a whistleblower just exposed that Birkin-style designs, those once iconic symbols of wealth and exclusivity, are now being sold for under $100.
Goods without like even fact checking anything about any of this information that you're being fed from these factories or people with these TikTok videos which seemingly have false information, everything from pricing to the bags. Like, I just don't understand.
At Walmart, because the sacred bag that once had wait lists longer than a Rolls-Royce queue is now being slapped on TikTok, hauls under the nickname Birkin, and what started as fashion gossip has officially become a brand meltdown. This story is explosive, and I think it might be the end of the luxury illusion as we know it. Here's where things start to smell really suspicious.
Got a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Italy, made in China, or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way. I have spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Multiple whispers from fashion insiders suggest that a Hermes-aligned sourcing partner may have allegedly cut a side deal to offload Birkin-inspired molds to a third-party distributor connected to Walmart. Think about that. Instead of destroying or securing unused templates, they allegedly got monetized, and not through high-end boutiques, through big box retail chains at mass scale. No wonder Charlotte Gainsbourg was livid.
Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step.
Her mother's name wasn't just borrowed, it was allegedly sold out by someone inside the system. And what does Hermes have to say about that? Radio silence, which to me speaks louder than any denial ever could.
First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay?
Let's rewind. The Birkin bag was born in 1984 after Jane Birkin had a chance encounter with Hermes CEO Jean-Louis Dumas on a flight. She complained her bags didn't hold anything. He sketched a design right there. The rest is fashion history. For decades, the Birkin represented ultra luxury. It wasn't just a bag, it was the bag.
They feel cheaper. No, that's not quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Hermes, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on. Show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
Prices started around $10,000, but skyrocketed past $300,000, depending on the leather, the hardware, even the color. There were wait lists, security escorts, fashion handlers wore gloves just to touch them. So how the A-child did this sacred symbol of high society end up as a $78 dupe on a Walmart rack?
It requires a lot of skill to turn it and get it on the right way.
Il y a des bouchées, des bacs plus 4, 5, 6, on en a. Hein.
TikTok did what TikTok does. It found the dupe and made it go viral. One video called it the Workin, a Walmart Birkin, and boom, it became a phenomenon overnight. These bags looked shockingly similar to the real thing. Croc print, top, handles, structured leather, not exact replicas, but the resemblance. Way too close, and priced at less than a pair of Nike slides. It was game over. Fashion girlies jumped on it. The internet went nuts. People who'd never even touched a luxury.
My point is, I think it's crazy how designer brands have been selling things for thousands when China sell them on and literally they're so cheap. If the Chinese manufacturers are making the same, like the actual Birkins, and then they are also selling these on the side as well, technically this is an absolute fucking bargain because it's the exact same material as a Birkin.
Bag were now flaunting Birkins in their car selfies. The Birkin mystique crushed. And that wasn't even the worst part. Axel Dumas, Hermes CEO, was reportedly livid. In a rare public comment, he admitted he was irritated by the entire Birkin craze. But here's the kicker, he couldn't stop it. Legally, Walmart didn't use the Hermes name. The
thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil à Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD.
Didn't call it a Birkin, so even though the design was clearly inspired, it skirted trademark laws. Dumas may have been furious, but his hands were tied. You could almost feel the brand panic, because if a $78 Walmart bag can pass for a Birkin at a glance, what are people really paying for anymore? Then came the alleged whistleblower. Someone from inside Hermes or a supplier close to them allegedly leaked that excess design specs were being repurposed by other factories. And guess where some of those knockoff blueprints allegedly ended up? That's right, Walmart distributors. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a look-alike. It was about the real design DNA of the Birkin being passed around like a fast fashion knockoff. If even part of this is true, then it's not just imitation, it's brand betrayal. And that's when Charlotte Gainsbourg reportedly had enough.
And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD.
Charlotte Gainsbourg, actress, artist, and Jane Birkin's daughter, allegedly took one look at the Birkin controversy and told Hermes, "Take my mother's name off the bag." And honestly, I think she's right. Jane Birkin was never about money or prestige. She was iconic because she was effortless. And to have her name dragged into a bargain bin, PR disaster. Disrespectful doesn't even begin to cover it. Reports say Charlotte is taking legal action to sever the Birkin name from Hermes entirely, forcing the company to either rename or rebrand the iconic bag. If she succeeds, it would be one of the biggest branding casualties in luxury fashion history.
De l'entrée où on me donne des morceaux de cuir jusqu'au moment où je vais avoir livré ma pièce, je veux pas qu'on reproduise un geste de façon indéfinie en se disant bon bah je fais toujours ce même geste et je pense qu'on est vraiment là pour apprendre un métier et pas des tâches.
What followed was chaos. Fashion insiders started picking sides. Luxury purists are furious. They say this is what happens when brands chase hype and collabs instead of craftsmanship. Meanwhile, fashion influencers are cheering the downfall, saying the Birkin was always overpriced and out of touch. One viral TikTok said it best. Luxury isn't about price anymore. It's about perception, and that illusion just shattered. The Birkin wasn't just knocked off, it was dethroned, and Charlotte's takedown might be the final nail in its crocodile coffin. If the lawsuit goes through and Gainsbourg wins, Hermes might actually be forced to retire the Birkin name. That would be unprecedented. Losing the name of their most iconic product would tank resale markets, crash their exclusivity narrative, and send every luxury competitor into crisis mode. Imagine if Louis Vuitton lost the Speedy. Or if Chanel had to rename the 2.55. That's how big this is. Some insiders are already speculating that Hermes is working on backup plans, a silent rebrand, a pivot to a numbered series, even whispers of a totally new flagship bag, because if the Birkin name dies, so does the old guard of fashion elitism. The resale market is already spiraling. Resellers who hoarded Birkins as investments are panicking. If the bag gets renamed or pulled from production, its perceived prestige drops instantly, and no one pays 6 figures for a bag that people think came from Walmart. Auction houses are watching closely. One luxury buyer even claimed that 3 clients canceled orders within 24 hours of the rumor breaking. And if Hermes tries to keep selling Birkins without Jane's family's blessing, that's a PR nightmare waiting to happen. Isn't it ironic? TikTok built the Birkin trend, but it's Jane Birkin's daughter who's allegedly shutting it all down. That's what makes this so powerful. Charlotte isn't just some angry influencer. She's the literal namesake heir. She doesn't want her mom's name on a bag that's become a meme, and I think she's got every right to feel betrayed. This was never about clout or luxury for Jane. It was about practicality, function. That's what inspired the bag in the first place. And now it's being reduced to a cheap dupe meme? No wonder her daughter snapped. Let's be honest, the Birkin scandal isn't just about one bag, it's about the crumbling illusion that high price equals high value. Because if a $78 dupe looks just like a $28,000 bag, consumers will start asking questions, real ones. Those kind of questions luxury brands have spent decades avoiding, and if Hermes can't answer them, other brands are next. Dior, Chanel, Gucci, they're all watching this unfold, because if Birkin falls, the house of cards goes with it. The influencer world is in full meltdown mode over this. TikTok's luxury girlies, who once bragged about buying $15,000 bags with cash only, are now bailing. Some are deleting their Birkin unboxings. Others are jumping ship to alternative brands like Delvaux and Moynat, calling them the real luxury now. One viral creator with over 1 million followers even said, "I'm not paying mortgage money for a bag that gets copied for under $100 at Walmart. I'm done." This isn't just a PR headache. This is an identity crisis for Hermes. Because when the people who promote your product don't trust it anymore, you're cooked. The editorial world is scrambling. Some fashion magazines are rushing to defend Hermes, publishing puff pieces about heritage craftsmanship and timeless legacy. But others, they're exposing receipts. One UK-based outlet just published an expose about sourcing shortcuts allegedly taken during the pandemic, when Hermes reportedly leaned on cheaper third-party manufacturers to meet demand. And guess what? Those are the same firms now tied to the dupe scandal. Even stylists and fashion editors are conflicted. One said anonymously, "If we keep pushing the Birkin after this, we lose credibility. The magic is gone." They're right. And once the gatekeepers lose faith, the floodgates open. Don't expect official statements, but the red carpet behavior says it all. A-listers known for flexing their Birkins, like Cardi B, Kris Jenner, and even Jennifer Lopez, have suddenly stopped bringing them to events. Rumor is, some publicists are even advising clients to go subtle until the heat dies down. Why? Because nobody wants to be seen as flaunting a luxury good that's now tied to Walmart memes and whistleblower lawsuits. One stylist allegedly leaked that 2 major celebrities just pulled out of a Hermes ad campaign over the drama, and another buyer allegedly refused a gifted Birkin altogether. This isn't just a vibe shift, it's a purge. Behind the scenes, Hermes employees are allegedly furious, not just because of the scandal, but because they've been left to clean it up. Retail staff are reportedly getting harassed with questions about the Walmart bag, while executives stay silent. Artisans in the ateliers allegedly insulted that their hand-stitched work is being compared to mass-market knockoffs. Even some mid-level staff are allegedly threatening to walk unless Hermes makes a public statement acknowledging the controversy. Far, nothing but silence. And when your own team is turning on you, that's when you know the brand is cracking from the inside out. Here's the part no one is supposed to know. Insiders are whispering that Hermes might already be preparing for a total rebrand of the Birkin line under a new name. Why? Because if Charlotte Gainsbourg wins in court, or if public backlash makes the Birkin name toxic, Hermes won't have a choice. Rumors say internal documents reference a placeholder name, 112 or Ligne Elegance, as a potential transition brand. Quiet testing is allegedly happening in Europe with updated marketing materials and no mention of Birkin whatsoever. If true, that means they're not just bracing for impact, they're already rebuilding from the ashes. This isn't damage control. This is legacy reconstruction. Let's zoom out, because this Birkin versus Walmart scandal didn't happen in a vacuum. Just weeks ago, brands like Louis Vuitton and Chanel were hit with backlash after influencers like Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly accused them of outsourcing luxury goods to undisclosed Chinese factories while charging 5 figures and branding them made in France. Now Hermes is caught in the crossfire, and if Birkin designs were allegedly leaked, misused, or repurposed by third-party suppliers, then we're looking at a systemic collapse, not just a one-time oops. It's not one bag, it's the whole industry, and Hermes just became the face of the fraud. There's another war quietly brewing beneath the surface, and it's between Hermes and every other luxury house that wasn't exposed. Insiders say brands like Bottega Veneta, Loewe, and Delvaux are licking their lips at the opportunity to snatch up the ultra-elite customers jumping ship from Hermes. Some have already started poaching longtime Hermes stylists. Others are reportedly pitching exclusivity campaigns targeting ex-Birkin buyers with phrases like, "True luxury has no replicas." One insider even said, "This is the opening shot in a new luxury war. The brands who kept their hands clean, they're coming for the crown." It's about prestige now, not price. The scary part? This isn't the end. Charlotte Gainsbourg's rumored lawsuit is just one piece. The whistleblower leak is still spiraling. TikTok creators are still making Birkin hauls, and Hermes still hasn't released a real statement if they lose the Birkin name, if the leak is traced back to their sourcing team. If other brands start naming names, this could collapse the entire ultra-luxury model, and maybe that's the real headline. The Birkin scandal isn't just a story about one bag. It's a funeral for the myth of untouchable fashion, because now we know luxury isn't always real, and that illusion, it just got ripped wide open. So what now? Charlotte Gainsbourg may have just done what no influencer, reseller, or dupe could ever do. She took down the most powerful bag in fashion history by protecting her mother's legacy. And honestly, I think she won. The Birkin went from the world's most exclusive item to a TikTok punchline, and no amount of luxury branding can fix what's already broken, because once the illusion shatters, it can't be rebuilt.